From Charlottetown, it is NBL Canada playoff action on 5TV1. This evening, it is the third game of the Atlantic Division Final between the Island Storm and the Halifax Hurricanes, with this series tied at 1 apiece. How you doing, everybody? I'm Peter Ruckgazer alongside Mr. Gord McNeely. Glad you can join us here this evening. Gord, this Island Storm team, they could very easily be up in this series 3-0. They've changed things around defensively heading into this series. They've decided to play a zone. They haven't played zone all season long, and it seems to be effective for them.
Well, it's coming out. It's changing up the dynamic. Halifax struggled with it because they weren't able to hit that corner three consistently. If they hit that, it'll be a different focus for them. They won't be able to stay in the zone as long. But listen, that was a great adjustment by Joe Salerno. This Island Storm team is playing the best basketball of the season, and this game is going to be very much the same.
For Halifax, their bread and butter is to go to the low post, get inside the paint, crash the glass. They're going to be without one of their bigs here this evening in C.J. Washington, and that's going to be a major loss for them. How will that affect Halifax?
His rebounding, his determination, he's always on the glass. He is one of the best players in the NBL, and to lose him today, that means that the next guy has to step up. So we'll see who that is. We'll see if that affects defensive rebounding numbers and offensive rebounding numbers.
Okay, it should be a great game. The first two games were unbelievable. Expecting the same here in game number 3. We're going to step out. On the other side, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip. You're watching the NBL Canada playoffs right here on 5TV1.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hey, Mom, is it okay if Sarah comes over for dinner tonight?
Yeah, as long as it's okay with her mom.
Can she?
Yeah, of course.
Yes!
At Ronald McDonald House, we give families a home away from home, close to their sick children.
Public address announcer Paul M. Skierman, and get the starting lineups for tonight's game.
Billy White. From Auburn University, a 6'2" guard, number 14, Anquan Mason. From DePaul University, a 6-foot guard, number 12, Cliff Clinkscales. And from New Mexico State University, a 6'6" forward, number 1, Tyrone Watson. Head coach of the Halifax Hurricanes, Mike Leslie. The assistant coach, Joe Wells. And now, introducing the starting lineup. for your Island Storm. From Brooklyn, New York, out of Coppin State University, a 6'6" forward, number 24, Akeem Ellis. From Lakeville, Minnesota, out of Augustana University, a 6'5" forward, number 15, Al Richter. From Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, out of the University of Ottawa, a 6'4" guard, number 13, Terry Hobbs. From Jacksonville, Florida, out of the University of Kentucky, a 6'9" center, number 5, A.J. Stewart. And from Mesa, Arizona, from Arizona State University, a 5'10" point guard, number 1, John Carson. Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of the Island Storm is Joe Salerno in his 6th season. The assistant coaches, Ray Vedito and Jeff Morrison. Team manager is Mitch Raleigh, with the head physiotherapist, Colin Moore.
So here we go, folks. Buckle up. Get ready for game number 3 of this Atlantic Division final between the Island Storm and Halifax. Peter Rutgazer here, along with Gord McNeely and the rest of the TV1 crew. And Gord, if the first 2 games are any indication, this should be a good one here this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to pick up your 50-50 tickets down at the Storm Center. We've had some nice spots in the last month.
Is really struggling to find their identity that they had
50-50 tickets available
early on in the year, and the Storm are surging. Every game they keep getting a little bit better. So there's some pretty important matchups here today. We'll talk about them as we get going, but listen, this game is going to be about heart, determination, and the Storm need to keep this crowd in this basketball game.
When I talked to Mike Leslie, he said it was a matchup against a small lineup, being the Island Storm, against a big lineup with the Halifax Hurricanes. And so far, the smaller lineup, they've had a lot of success. The Island Storm, you know, that first game, it was a close game. They won that one. And, you know, they could very easily be back home here with a 2-0 lead. So their small lineup has given this Halifax team some difficulties.
Oh, yeah. Well, Terry Thomas is playing big. He had 24 points and 11 rebounds. Like, so when your 3 guard does that, and then, listen, A.J. Stewart's producing, Terrell Baines is producing, so your big people are producing, causing a lot of pressure on the Halifax team. So, listen, Clint Scales has got to lead this team for Halifax and be everything and anything that he can do tonight to improve the guard play for Halifax.
Speaking of Terry Thomas, he had 24 points, 11 rebounds in game number 2 in that overtime loss. And we are underway in Charlottetown. And there is the pass first point guard, Clint Scales.
And we'll see how Cox does. Cox is starting in the starting lineup.
There's a big-time rejection by A.J. Stewart. Yeah, so you have C.J. Washington, who's out of the lineup. He got hurt late in game number 2. So it's going to be up to Cox and Ronaldo Dixon to fill his shoes here in game 3.
And Halifax won the rebounding battle both games in Halifax, so we'll see at the end of the game what the rebounding battle is like for these teams.
Here's Antoine Mason. Oh, a nice pass right there. That was Cox that fed Watson, and that was an easy bucket.
Yeah, just off of broken play. The Storm wanted to start their fast break, and they've been fast breaking it very well. But that time they just threw it out of bounds and then gave Halifax another possession.
Well, give Halifax credit. They simply clamped down on Jahi Carson. Turnover. Watson taking it back the other way. And off the window and in. He wanted a foul there. Yeah, they put the clamps on Jahi Carson in game number 2. Jahi with just 6 points, 5 rebounds. Yet Island Storm, they made that one a very close game without his offensive prowess.
Look at that move.
Oh, nice move right there by Terry Thomas.
And that's the problem, is Halifax has no answer for Terry Thomas. He's going left, right. He's penetrating, putting pressure on Halifax's defense right away.
Low post now for Cox. Ellis trying to defend him. Good ball movement. Clink Scales. Mason. Here's Cox. That's a tough shot and leaves it just a little short. Ellis with the rebound. Here's Ellis, drives off the window and it rolls in.
So now you got the Island Storm team with their two most dynamic, energetic players with Akeem Ellis and Terry Thomas both on the board early.
Here's Billy White from range and misses. Thomas now, he'll push it up the court. Ellis trying to drive in the paint, and a foul. Looks like it's going to go against Cox.
Yeah, and those two guys being aggressive. So basically, that's your 3 and 4 players on the floor driving the ball to the basket. So it gives Jahi an opportunity to settle down in the point guard position, try to get those guys into it, and then see if you can get Al Richter for a jump shot in the corner.
Mike Leslie, he wants his team just to
right here.
Push up the offense, or excuse me, push up the defense a little bit more. He wants some defensive intensity as Richter goes flying into the crowd there. He feels that if he can get some more defensive intensity, 10% more, they've got a real good shot at winning this game, Halifax does. Here's Clink Scales, wide open Watson. He wants to drive. Pass inside for Cox, and Clink Scales gonna drive here, trying to turn the corner, and they say he stepped out.
And he's trying to do, Clink Scales is trying to do what he needs to, penetrate, but that was good defense on the Storm. See, it's all about stopping the ball on the professional levels. If you can stop penetration, your team's gonna have a shot. See, that's the penetration, it was stopped, so reset.
Jahi Carson, A.J. Stewart. Nice jam there for the big man for the Island Storm.
Sick little 180 dunk there.
See, can they stop Billy White here? Rebound brought down by Thomas. Terry Thomas gonna drive in on Watson. There's Richter with the offensive rebound, then lost it, and now it's Clink Scales back the other way for the Hurricanes. That pass, too hot to handle for Cox. Jahi Carson wide open. Jahi Carson for 3.
You can feel it in this building. And good fast break, hit the trailing three-point shooter. Jahi Carson hasn't had a wide open look like that since grade 3.
I don't think you'll see Jahi Carson have 2 bad games in a row. Really struggled in game number 2, and the feeling is, from the Storm's perspective, he wasn't getting some calls.
Yeah.
There was a feeling that he was fouled a number of times in game 2, especially in that second half, and he wasn't getting the calls.
Yeah, well, he has a tendency when he does get hit, he's so experienced that he'll show it with his shoulders. So his shoulders will go back, and then the refs, they either call it or don't, but he's definitely getting contact. But this is playoff basketball in the NBL. You're not gonna get every call like that. So you just got to keep playing, working hard, and keep doing your thing. Oh, this is a mismatch here. Oh, boys.
Jahi Carson going against Billy White. He gets the hoop and the harm, and he'll head to the line.
Woo, and Peter, they switched on that, and he got the matchup and just showed some lightning speed. You'll see it if we can get the replay up, but that was a world-class move. You'll see it. There's the switch. Oh, did you see that? Beautiful.
And Jahi Carson this past week named the 2016-2017 Newcomer of the Year in the NBL.
And just a great addition to Charlottetown. We love him here, and he's done a great job for the community and just a first-class person.
And Terry Thomas, he was named the 16-17 Canadian player in the NBL this year. So 2 big awards for Island Storm players. Here's Clink Scales. He wants a screen. Watson down low. Nice little shot right there by Ronaldo Dixon. And he'll see some time here. Both he and Cox replacing C.J. Washington. Here's Al Richter from Three-point range. Oh, almost got the bounce.
Yeah, the line was great. Good shot.
Clink Scales.
And you'll
knocking it down
yeah,
hard.
and like I said, is like he's a great point guard, and he'll do what his team needs when his team needs it, and that's apparent there. But settle his team down, you know, make sure that the Storm were on a big run, settle them down, and get right back into this game.
Shahid Carson with a jumper. The one thing that Coach Leslie wanted from Clink Scales towards the end of the season, shoot the ball more. He's such an unselfish player. He's always looking to make that pass first, and he's done exactly that for the head coach for Halifax. And there's Dixon hitting that shot, so tied at 12.
And that's a really, really positive sign. He only had 2 points in the last game, so.
And Terry Thomas replies.
And he's really worked on extending his game at the start of the year. Everybody was playing him as a driver. You can't do that anymore.
Dixon's shot's no good. Rebound brought down. Here's Terry Thomas. He'll slow the pace down a little bit. Defer here to Shahid Carson. Ellis wants to drive on Antoine Mason. 8 on the shot clock. Shahid gonna take on Mason in the paint. AJ Stewart's got to do something pretty fast here. And that's an air ball.
He just wasn't ready to shoot. Stewart wasn't.
This first quarter has gone by pretty fast here. 5:56 remaining. Oh, they're going to call that a goaltend. And Joe Salerno says, hold on a second.
No, he said it hit the rim. It came off the rim. Yeah. So I'm not. Joe Salerno was upset there, but.
So it's not a goaltend then, is it? Okay, they're going to, yeah, they're saying it's a goaltend, so.
It hit the rim. He touched it on the rim.
We'll take a break right now. We'll get it all settled when we come back. Right now, 5:54 remaining in the first quarter. Storm lead this one 15-14 over Halifax.
Is that 5 TV?
Oh, you know it, man. With ultra-stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time.
We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
I'm having all my TVs set up wirelessly. It's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TVs? I don't have it.
Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Oh, sorry.
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 Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Storm basketball on 5TV1 brought to you by Grafcom Design Web Marketing. We're here to help you be great. Okay. 15-14. Storm leading the Hurricanes. Game 3 of this Atlantic Division final. Turnover there. And here's Billy White charging back the other way. Mason lays it off the glass and in.
Yeah, and Billy White, he not only plays on the offensive end, plays on the defensive end, created a turnover there against the drive by Terry Thomas, got his team 2 points.
Here's Thomas. He'll try a jumper off the iron. White brings down the rebound. Billy White working against Mike Allison. Allison had a strong game in game number 2 for the Storm. White driving on Allison. They wave the bucket off. And they call it travel.
Yeah, and good defense there. Took the contact, but then reestablished both feet on the ground. So that's a travel. Sometimes they let that one go. Not this time.
Three things that Joe Salerno wanted to do going into the series: limit second chance points, limit points in paint, and limit points on turnovers, and they've done that so far in 2 games.
Yeah, and they haven't. But I like the way Halifax is playing. See, they've really stifled Terry there.
Little turnover, good read by Clinkscales, and he turned the ball over himself. Here's Ellis, moves in. He loses the handle.
There's some contact there. But that's what happens in playoffs. Like, there was major contact. That's normally a foul, but nope, they say play on.
Here's Dixon, fakes the shot. Little finger roll. Couldn't get it to go, and now here's Jahi Carson. He'll push it. Jahi with a floater.
And that's a good. We haven't seen that in a few games from Jahi, and he's really offensively taken control. And this is what the Storm needed at this juncture in the game.
He already has 6 points in this one. Game number 2, he only had 6 points.
And that's where they struggled. They just defended that pick and roll, and they got it. So we'll watch how the Storm defend that.
Clinkscales as the shot clock was running down.
Yeah, a man's move right there. Just kept going. His team needed to make him something happen. Wow, did he ever do that?
18-17 in favor of the Hurricanes.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that one. You got to put that done down, big fella.
Terry Thomas tried to save it, gave it right to Clinkscales. Here's Watson. Watson to Billy White. Billy White will try it again, and this time he gets the deuce.
Good gang defense, but Billy White, man, that's why he's one of the best players in the league. Day in, day out, he'll just stay with it and work and work and work until it goes in.
28 points, 11 boards, 5 dimes in game number 2 for Billy White. Here's Mike Allison.
He likes that right-handed hook. He'll come back to that shot
Allison,
right there.
yeah, little hook shot, couldn't get it, gets it again, and that time he converts.
Yeah, and in the post, he's working to get to that side so he can turn his shoulders, and if he does, it usually goes in 80% of the time.
Here's Antoine Mason in the paint. Nice pass. And that swarming defense comes up big again for the Storm.
Yeah, and they stuck with it defensively, but Billy White's there getting 2 or 3 shot chances at it, so you can't keep doing that with that level of talent.
Jahi Carson pulls back.
Oh,
drains it. No problems for number 1.
No, and Billy White's he's rolling back to the basket, and Jahi got a sense of that, and he just stopped and shot a beautiful. See the softness in that jump shot.
Clinkscales to Watson. Baseline J leaves it short. Here's Al Richter. Off the window, no good. Loose ball again. They fight for it.
That is great hustle by those athletes. They're patting each other on the back. These kids are, these men, are really respectful and they work hard. And they're just trying to do what's best for their cities and their towns and their communities they represent. So you see it there, good sportsmanship.
So Jahi Carson will sit down, take a bit of a rest, and so will Akeem Ellis.
Yeah, and I'd like to welcome our fans watching from Halifax. How you doing? Metro, got a good team here. Hopefully you're tuning in.
They got banged for the buck in game number 2, that's for sure. Game that went to overtime, Halifax won it. They got a big shot late in regulation from Clinkscales to send it to OT.
That was a great game. Shout out to the commentators who commentated that game too. Great job.
Here's Terry Thomas. See directs traffic here. Bowen is into the game, number 15 for Halifax. Down the lane. Nice finger roll there by Terry Thomas.
And he's very similar when he gets going to the basket like LeBron James. Stretches out, uses a lot of power, is determined to go. So that's why he's been such a good player the last couple of years in this league.
And that ball out of the reach of Dixon.
And that's a problem because you have, with C.J. Washington out, people have to play in different positions. Dixon's not used to being out there. Sometimes that's C.J. Washington in that position. And it's just, you don't know what other people's tendencies are. So you see a turnover there. and they've got to make sure they defend against that.
Terry Thomas already with 7 points and 3 boards.
Mismatch.
Here's Richter. And Al Richter, the Minnesota native, gets fouled. He'll head to the line.
Yeah, and good awareness. The Storm said, look, there was a switch, Clinksdale's on Al Richter, and they took advantage of that mismatch. So that's how you do it. Al Richter's 6'5", Clinksdale's is 6 foot, so advantage 6'5".
Here's the second shot now for Richter. And he makes both. 25-20. Under a minute now in this first quarter.
And Al Stewart just checked in about a minute and a half ago. So he's going to be defending. Clinksdale fresh legs going into half or quarter time. Rashad Waxy in his first action.
Joey Haywood, former St. Mary's Husky, and that pass no good as Billy White and Bowen couldn't team up.
And Joey Haywood's got to be able to hit that outside perimeter jump shot that he usually plays in the left side of the floor. He hit a couple in Halifax in that second game, and it meant a great deal to his team.
One of the players that Coach Leslie says has stepped up big time come playoffs. And there's Al Stewart.
And Hayward got burned by so much speed there with Al Stewart. Fresh legs, you see. 100% power going to the basket by Al Stewart.
Last shot here now in the first quarter for Halifax.
Rashad Wack can defend this too.
Clink Scales moves in. And they're going to say that is Storm ball.
Now listen, did they take a timeout here? There's 3.6 seconds. There's enough time to get something good. Coach is trying to get him on the move.
Here's Rashad Wack, long distance three. Oh. And that was very, very close. So we've got a quarter in the books, and the Island Storm off to a good start. They lead Halifax here in game number 3, 27-20. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with second quarter action. You're watching the NBL Canada playoffs on 5 TV1.
You know it, man.
With ultra stunning 4K picture quality.
I love using Restart.
I use that all the time. We love having Crave TV and Netflix right on it.
And having all my TVs set up wirelessly, it's amazing.
Can you imagine some people still don't have 5 TVs?
I don't have it. Because I was living abroad.
With so many reasons to love 5 TV, it's time to make the switch to the best TV service.
Oh, sorry.
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 Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Welcome back, everybody. Peter Rutgazer, Gord McNeely, and the entire 5TV1 crew. There you see the score after one quarter of play. The Island Storm leading by 7 over the Halifax Hurricanes. Game number 3 of the Atlantic Division Final. Gord, what did you see so far in this one?
Well, I saw the Storm play their basketball. Halifax, I'm really watching them to see if they're scrambling a little bit. They've had a few unforced turnovers, guys out of position. Billy White's on the perimeter quite a bit. But, you know, where are they going to draw their attack from? For the Storm, it looks pretty ordinary. You know, you've got Akeem Ellis driving. You've got Terry Thomas driving. They're on the bench right now resting. Al Stewart came in and hit a bucket. So they're getting theirs the way they like to get theirs. So Halifax really has to respond here and try to get some easy baskets. But look, the Storm, this is the first time in the series I think they rebounded Halifax. So direct correlation to C.J. Washington not being in the game.
Game number 2, Halifax out-rebounded the Storm 60-55. Here's Bowen. Bowen with the J. Loose ball, Wack brings it down, and he'll move it up on offense.
And I mean, he's a good shooter. Bowen's a good shooter, but you can get that kind of shot anytime. You know, there was no aggression to it. There was just, it's a spot off a screen shot. Difficult shot. So let's see if Halifax, they got to keep going to Billy White and get him the ball. He's your best scorer. Put all the marbles on his back, and away you go.
Right now, the Storm shooting 55% from the field. Halifax 45%. Here's Al Richter for three. Drains it.
And so the Storm are playing within the flow of their offense, getting the shots that they normally get during the season.
So Storm by 10, just underway here in the second quarter. Game 3 of the Atlantic Division Final. Wide open, Joey Haywood, and he gets knocked down while he's shooting, so he'll go to the line and shoot three.
Yeah, we saw that too. He just got hit way after the shot. And this is what we talked about when Haywood stepped in. He needed to hit that perimeter jump shot, that one right there. If he does, his team's in this basketball game. So, I mean, it's going to be a 4-point play on that. Great answer because Al Richter just hit a three before that. So
three-point play there by Joey Haywood, and he makes the 4-point play, the former AUS Player of the Year back in 2011. Al Stewart to A.J. Stewart. A little bit of a bump there.
Oh.
And
Baines was in.
Storm get denied. Baseline. There goes Bowen.
Yeah, he got up for that. And those are two big baskets for the Halifax.
Al Richter, he's starting to feel it.
Yeah, and I mean, just like that, you forget about that guy, and he's one of the best spot-up shooters in the league, playing very well.
Al knocks down a couple of threes, and then right back the other way is Joey Haywood.
Yeah, and the pressure he can put on a defense is just, he goes to the basket like Russell Westbrook. Right, he's going to decide to go, and if he does it, like that's a huge compliment because he goes hard.
A.J. Stewart hits that one.
She's setting it up to go right. He's a right-handed penetrator, so he sets that up.
Halifax swinging the ball around. That's a teardrop, and foul against.
No, it was a travel.
Travel
okay.
on
the catch. He goes so fast that I'm just watching him. He'll set everything up so he'll go right, and then if he has to come back left, he'll go left.
Joey Haywood played a little pro ball in Denmark, led that league in scoring one season.
Terry Thomas running the baseline.
Here's Al Stewart, fakes the shot. Terry Thomas wants to drive his way in, a little floater, no good. A.J. Stewart flew in there trying to get that rebound. And there's Poole, and he'll give it to Haywood. Bowen inside. Dixon. Poole from outside, that rimmed out.
And that normally goes for him, so great shooter. I like Mike Poole.
And that ball knocked out of the hands of Al Stewart, and that'll be Storm ball.
And if you notice, Peter, the Storm are on the offensive glass. We haven't really seen much of that all season from this team. So they're there because C.J. Washington is not in this basketball game. So there's more opportunities for them to crash, and you're starting to see that in the second quarter.
9:20 left in the second. 35-28 in favor of the Island Storm. Al Stewart, as he was working against Poole and then trying to make a bounce pass. It went off of Poole's foot, so it'll be Storm ball here. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Terrell Baines, he makes his first appearance in this game. Here's Rashad Wack off a screen.
There's a touch on the glass again, so.
And a little miscommunication there.
And this is
by the Hurricane.
You'll see Clinkscales come in pretty quickly, I think, after this timeout.
Okay, 9 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. We're going to step out 35-28. Storm leading the Halifax Hurricanes here in Game 3 of the Atlantic Division Final. Back to Charlottetown right after this.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Welcome back, everybody. Island Storm basketball on 5TV1 is brought to you by Centennial Auto Group, the official vehicle provider of the Island Storm. One family, one customer at a time since 1979. 9 minutes remaining in the second quarter. The Island Storm in front over Halifax, 35-28. And so far, so good if you're a Storm fan.
Yeah, they're getting their shots where they want to. They're running their offense as well. Halifax has taken away Terry Thomas's lanes a little bit, and then Al Rector starts to hit a jump shot or two. And when they shoot the ball, there's presence on the glass. Although the Storm aren't getting the ball every time, that could play a big factor in this basketball game with this Island Storm team rebounding offensively.
Jaheed Carson with 9 points so far in this game for the Storm. There's whack for Terrell Baines down low.
Boys.
That was a nice little spin move there by Baines, and then he gets hacked by Bowen.
Baines Elijah there, boys. Oh, yeah. You just don't think that a player that size can spin that quickly.
I mentioned that Jaheed Carson has 10 points for the Storm. For Halifax, you got to have Joey Haywood. He has 6. And with 5 points, Ronaldo Dixon. Also with 5 is Cliff Clinkscales, as he has 5 points on 2 of 3 shooting from the field.
Yeah, and you know, they're not bringing Clinkscales back. Listen, it's about as hot as a hot yoga class in here. So I mean, these coaches, it'll be different. You're not going to see your best players play as much, especially in this first half. They have to save them. It's so warm in here that it could be a big factor down the stretch.
Haywood kicks it out. Bowen floats it, gets it back again. That's good hustle, and then the big-time rejection by Terry Thomas.
Terry Thomas's arms just grew by like 2 feet after that. He was buffed out. But listen, that was a great block, and that's something that can get to watch this. Boom, get it out of here.
Wow, he came out of nowhere.
And he's talking to somebody. He's talking to some fans. Yeah. He's their emotional leader on this team. So having amazing playoffs.
Joey Haywood. Dixon back to Haywood. Here's Bowen. He wants to drive on Terry Thomas. Little floater, no good. Good defense there. Little tip by Allison. Gives it to Whack. Here's Baines. Baines, nothing but net.
Baines buries it because he's been doing that all season with that jump shot.
You see his fingers on his left hand taped up. A little bit of an injury that he suffered in game number 2, but he's in there.
And now you're going to see Clinkscales come back in because that's just one too many turnovers for no reason. And Mike Leslie's looking down his bench because those are the turnovers at this level that drive you crazy. But the ball's wet. So if you see people losing the ball, it's because of sweat and condensation.
And it, like you said, it is humid in this building here tonight. And a travel on Rashad Whack.
And they're calling the traveling. If you're a fan at home, they're calling the traveling tighter today. Like that's just the way it is. They're calling that. Sometimes they can get away with a Euro step, a kind of a tricky pivot hop. They're not letting it go tonight on either side.
Antoine Mason, Billy White trying to set a screen for him.
Terry Thomas did a good job of getting through that screen.
Pass here for Watson, and Watson gets bumped, and he'll shoot 2.
Yeah, and he'll go to the line. Great play, and that came off of a high screen on the other side. The Storm played that pretty well. They're they're fighting through. See them fighting through on that? But two guys fought through. One guy fought through, and so did the other guy, leaving the third guy in the corner open. So just a miscommunication. We've talked about that a lot all season with this team. Just keep communicating. Get that circle of rotation going on defense for the Storm fans.
And that's the first foul for A.J. Stewart. We talked about in the opening how as Terry Thomas gets it to Stewart,
nice.
There's Baines, easy bucket.
Oh,
and a hoop and a harmony led to the line, shoot for three. We talked about playing that zone defense and how well it's worked for the Island Storm.
Yeah, and it has, and they haven't had to use it today because things are kind of rolling. But that play there, listen, Jahi Carson up the ball, pushed the ball up 25 feet to Terry Thomas right there. Terry Thomas had two people guarding him, made a great decision. Guys are scrambling to find their people, and boom, Baines gets an easy layup. Very unselfish team basketball by your 3, 4, and 5 players on the court. Excellent.
So Baines can't make that three-point play. 41-29, 6:58 remaining here in the second quarter. Loose ball.
That's going to go on Terry Thomas.
Foul on Thomas. He's in a little disbelief.
Well, he had inside position, but Billy White had the advantage, the rebounding advantage position. So right call, going the other way. And that's the thing is that unless you block Billy White out well before the shot goes up, you're in a negative position. He's such a good offensive rebounder.
Cox comes into the game for Joey Haywood.
See a high screen here. Here it comes. See how they defend it? They go over top.
Inside for Cox. There's Billy White. He tried to jam it down, and A.J. Stewart is called for the foul. And taking a look at Joe Salerno. And he wants to have a word with the official. He doesn't think so. Take a look at it here.
Yeah, they're not defending that screen well because they're doing what coach told them to do in practice, I can tell. Going to fight over top, but the post player has to trust the guard. So there's a lack of trust between the person being screened and the person coming off. So they need to figure that out, or else you're going to get something on the weak side just like that.
Billy White makes the first of two. He's a guy that averaged 17.2 points per game.
And he's good enough. He could have averaged 47 if he wanted to.
Yeah.
He's just an unselfish guy that wants to win. So one of my favorite players in this league.
So Storm by 10. Terry Thomas, Watson defending him. Here's Whack. Whack, whoa. Just missed it. That was a little bit of a circus move there by 22. Then up to Watson. Oh, good defense as Baines comes back.
When Watson wants a goaltend, he's not going to get it, but he's got to get back on defense pretty fast.
Jahi Carson, he was open there. Baines, nice fake, drives off the glass and in.
So they're making the extra pass, Peter, and that's making a big difference in this basketball game. Like Jahi Carson, top scorer in the league, just passed up a wide open three to get something better.
Billy White, he backs down Stewart. Good defense there by the Storm. Jahi Carson, long range three.
And you see, that's what happens. You pass that up, next time it comes along, you're ready to shoot. That's world-class basketball right there. Storm up by 15.
Wow. So 5:24 remaining in the second. And there's the defense right there.
Hustle. Yeah, Baines went way up there, brother. Woo!
And there's Terrell Baines with that hurt finger and all.
Just been working all season.
You notice the defense of this Storm team just improving week by week here?
Yeah, and so what Salerno's talking about right now is kind of what I talked about before. The only gaps in there is that screen and roll. So that's what the offense is trying to do. How they defend it, they're trying to get that first defender to fight through, stay close to the ball handler. But what's happening is the 4 player is coming out as well. So they're getting 2 guys in this no man's land space. And in basketball, that's dangerous. And you have to communicate through that and believe in your offensive or your defensive functions or whatever the coach has laid out to do, how to play that.
Now, we talked about how the Storm are using a zone. They never played zone all season long, and you said that they haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
Has that got something to do with C.J. Watson not being in the lineup?
Yeah, well, it might, but, you know, what coaches want to do, they want to stay in man-to-man as long as they can because that's a defense they can control. Once you start to go into a zone, you lose control. Guys don't have the same, responsibilities in a zone. It gets a little bit slacker. So this way, Salerno can stay with his people, control the man-to-man, make little adjustments, and use a zone maybe after a timeout or something just to throw Halifax off a little bit. But typically, you hit more jump shots in a zone. Okay, when you're the defensive team, the other team will trying to hit more three-pointers. So
here's Antoine Mason.
I hear some talking going on, so that's good. So the Storm are trying to talk through the. We'll see how they defend some of these screens.
Here's Mason. Hits the iron, and that'll be Storm ball here. 5:18 left in the second quarter.
He didn't really shoot it to score. I saw his legs flicker, and he kind of pushed it at the end. So it's the Hurricanes are not getting the same shots that they normally get in the regular season.
Richter. A.J. Stewart going baseline and then gets the ball knocked out of his hands by Mason. Antoine Mason, that's a tough shot, but he makes it. Whoa.
I don't think the coach drew that one up, but when you got as much talent as that, wow, big, tough, good shot.
Here's Jahi Carson, comes right back.
Unless they do something about that, man, Hurricanes are going to have a tough, long night here. That is a pure jump shot.
49-33 Storm, 4:32 left in the second quarter. Billy White kicks it out. Wide open, Clinkscales. And that's the reason why Mike Leslie wants him to shoot the ball more because he can knock down those shots.
It's beautiful. Same thing, pure. We got a great battle over here. Clinkscale versus Jahi Carson. Oh, that's world class. Both these kids could play in the NBA.
Here's Terry Thomas. Yeah, you talk to a number of coaches here that coach in this league or watch this league. They say there are two guys that should be in the NBA. Royce White, who's with London, who was drafted in the NBA, and Jahi Carson.
Yeah. Exactly, because Jahi Carson has the whole game. He can defend, score, shoot. But Billy White, he's looking down and stuff. Billy, I just want to say, man, it's the ball slippery, man. That's why you lost that ball. It wasn't anything that you did.
So 3:48 remaining here in the second quarter, and the Island Storm with a 49-36 lead over the Halifax Hurricanes. If you're Coach Mike Leslie, what are some of the things that you need to change up here a little bit?
Well, you need to remember that this is you still got 27 minutes of basketball left. Relax, play your basketball game. Keep going to Billy White, trying to get screens and stuff set up for him. When he touches it, he usually finds shooters, and that's how Clinkscale just hit that shot. It came from a pass from Billy White. So those two guys have to be the bulk of your offense. The other guys are just working, doing everything they can, and defending first. But now you got a real issue with Jahi Carson because he's hitting that three-pointer, and he's the best penetrator in the league. And, now you've got real issues because how do you defend him now? I don't know.
Kind of figured that Jahi Carson was going to have a big night here after scoring only 6 points in game number 2. He was frustrated in that game. He was 1 for 17 from the field, and that's not Jahi Carson type of numbers. So far here tonight, 16 points, 6 of 7 from the field, 3 for 3 from three-point land.
Crazy.
So he's on his game here.
Crazy stats. And what's happening, we mentioned CJ not being in the game, is that the rim is opening up. The lanes to the basket, you don't have the same rim protection. And you saw Baines finish pretty easily with a kind of a razzle-dazzle. That's normally not there when CJ's in the game. So they've really got to continue to talk and get this lead down to 5 or 6 going into halftime if you're Halifax.
See how Halifax responds here. Jahi.
Yeah,
he tried to drive, and Clinkscales is tagged with a foul.
Yeah, and it's a foul, but man, I can't stress enough how good how good defenders both these guys are. Clinksales was there. I mean, it was just better offense. So that's good NBL basketball right there.
Terry Thomas trying to navigate his way here. Fadeaway jumper. No good. And now Halifax will take it up the court. Here's Clinkscales. And that, a little bit of a miscue there as Clinkscales tried to feed it to Tyrone Watson.
Yeah, it's just, you know, the ball is just impossible to catch. So you got to really concentrate and almost put that ball in people's hands. As we say in PEI, it's slippy.
It's slippy, yeah. Down for A.J. Stewart, bobbled it, turn around, and Brad States tried to get that loose ball. States seeing his first action here in this one. Brad States acquitted himself really well in game number 2, 10 points, 3 boards, 4 or 5 from the field.
Yeah, and he brought a big spark in that second half. And overtime.
And the bench points, I mean, it was absolutely no contest. It was 57-33 in terms of bench points in favor of the Island Storm. As got a foul here against the Storm.
Maybe 2. I'm just seeing, no, they just blew the whistle and put it out of bounds, but they're getting into a Cox and States.
Tyrone Watson, Richter in his face there, and a foul away from the play, and that's Terry Thomas.
So they got to be, the Storm have to be careful. There's no need to start to chip it up because they're in control of this game. So if you know, that could benefit Halifax here. So just play your game.
Here's Antoine Mason, Terry Thomas, good defense there. Mason, no room.
Oh, nice
Watson's going to drive. Oh, nice pass. And Cox, he loses the handle.
Yeah, so just make sure your passes.
Jahi Carson, nice fake on Watson. Oh, what the heck was that?
Oh, my God.
That was the floater. You got to have some confidence to make a play like that.
We're in a game here, Peter.
And that shot is well missed by Billy White.
Yeah, and Halifax, listen, you're shooting all kinds of, watch this move, watch, right here, oopsie daisy.
Wow, he took Watson right out of his shoes.
Unbelievable. You can see his whole hand was open, see the softness of, you could learn a lot. Kids out there watching, you could learn a lot from the touch this young man has.
18 points now for Jahi Carson.
And Robert Norman in there working and grinding.
Norman, the former Dalhousie Tiger, going to see some action, and now bodies flying all over the place. That's Terry Thomas is down. I think he took a little bit of a finger in the face.
Yeah, and Billy White's over there talking to Brad, and 2 guys down.
So I thought it was maybe he got hit in the face. I don't know what the situation is there with Terry Thomas. He's had an array of injuries, but like a trooper, he's been able to stick it out this season. Had the hip injury, then got hacked in the wrist in that St. John series.
Yeah.
And he seems to be okay. We'll take a look at the replay and see what happened.
He's coming in from the right side. Here's the contact. Oh, it could be anything. He landed on that wrist, right on his. He'll be all right. For a while there, it looked like a WWE script there with two prize fighters down.
I thought initially he took a hand or an elbow to the face, but I'm not too sure what it was, but he seems to be okay.
Yeah, just land on that body. All your weight comes down on an elbow or a
well, the first thing I think of is the hip, because that's really bothered him throughout the season. Excuse me. Here's Thomas now.
Yeah, 2 good looks at it again. Storm doing a good job in the glass. And here's where Halifax has to be disciplined. Okay, they're the best Atlantic team in the league this year, and this is exactly what you have to do: is be disciplined, take it in, get fouled, and just relax your way into halftime.
Antoine Mason is fouled. So States Gets called for the foul there. Terry Thomas is going to come out here with 1:40 remaining in the second quarter, and Al Stewart will take his spot.
Yeah, Storm getting good minutes out of everybody. I mean, Norman's getting some extended minutes here going into halftime. That's what you can do when you have a 15-point lead. Get guys in, keep guys fresh for the third and fourth quarters. Haven't seen much of Akeem Ellis. Maybe haven't seen him at all.
Yeah, he hasn't played too much here in this second quarter. I'm looking at him here on the bench. He seems to be okay. And good hustle right there, as that was Dixon that followed up.
Yeah.
Jahi Carson for 3. Loose ball, Watson gets it. And now Clinkscales, he'll try to set the table here. Nice bounce pass. Oh, one-handed jam attempt there by Dixon, missed it, but he gets fouled, and he'll shoot 2.
And that's what Halifax has to do, man. Make this 140. They start to put some points on the board here. Watch the penetration. Good pass. You just can't allow people that much space. Secondary defender has to come over, and you hit the post player, and that's what happens. Slow the pace down, get to the foul line, allow your defense to set, take away the other team's fast break.
1:16 left here in this first half. 51-39 lead for the Storm. And Dixon makes the first of 2. Ronaldo Dixon out of New Mexico State, played some pro ball in Germany, out of Toronto.
Yeah, I like him as a player. He's got a lot of upside. Yeah, and then watch Halifax extending the defense a little bit. They're changing the tempo a little bit of this game. This is what the Storm did in Halifax.
Here's Al Stewart. Richter, he tried to get that pass to Richter, a little miscommunication, and now Storm got to get back on defense here. One thing that Joe Salerno said that he liked in Game 2 was that his team was able to execute in Games 1 and 2 down the stretch.
And G's saying, slow it down. Let's get a good one here. Got a mismatch right away. He's already done it to Billy White, and he's going to look to jack him up again, but everybody on the floor is watching him.
9 on the shot clock. 36 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Here's Al Richter. He's going to drive. He got out of control there, lost his balance, and that'll be Halifax ball.
He's saying he's got tripped up, but not going to get that too many times.
Al says that he got held. Here's Clinkscales.
Here comes, I thought it was going to be a screen. So they're running a little bit of a flex cut there.
Mason.
You got Carson guarding Billy White on that switch.
There's Billy White. That was a tough shot. And Jahi Carson is fouled with 9.9 seconds remaining.
There's going to be a timeout. Good foul by Halifax. Well, they're going to go. Jahi's going to shoot 2, so not such a great foul, but 9 seconds left. This is the Storm timeout here.
And, you know, throughout the season, we talked about doing the job, closing out quarters, and down the stretch here, I mean, the Storm have looked okay, would you say?
No, I don't like the way the Storm finished out this quarter, actually. I'll tell you why, because they got into a little bit of physicality, a little bit of aggressive physicality that they didn't need, and it kind of took them out of the game a little bit. So then they allowed Halifax to get to the foul line. They set their defense, extended their defense, and then you saw that pass to Al Richter on the right side. Guys weren't in a flow, so it allowed the Halifax Hurricanes to come back in. Mind you, they missed 2 shots. This could be a 6-point game here from 15 a few seconds ago to down to 6. So they've got to do a better job of, you know, kind of coming out and playing with a 15-point lead, because this is playoffs. So you could have a 28-point lead. We saw it the other night with the NBA. The San Antonio Spurs had a 25-point lead on Golden State Warriors and lost. So, I mean, no lead is big enough in playoffs, and the Storm have to keep reminding themselves of that.
So both teams talking things over. As you take a look at the Halifax bench, Halifax will stay overnight here in Charlottetown, have a day off, get a practice early tomorrow morning, and get set for game number 4 of this series, which will be played right here in Charlottetown. 7 p.m. Atlantic time start. We'll have that game for you on 5 TV1.
Wonder if they'll be going to the beach. Man, listen, it's summer tomorrow for one day only, folks.
It might be summer, but I would not even attempt to get in that water.
Are you kidding me? It's Brackley. We got to take what we get. Brackley Beach time tomorrow, me and you, Peter.
No, thank you. I don't feel like having any limbs amputated. That water is going to be ice cold.
All right, I'll go by myself.
Yeah, I'm not even getting into any water here in
Mike
Prince
Leslie's
Edward
been
Island.
in the water. He's an Islander right there,
well,
boys.
I'm not getting in the water until late July.
So they had some fouls to give. Halifax did.
Here's Jahi Carson, and that's going to do it. So after 2 quarters of play, the Island Storm in front by 10, 51-41 over the Halifax Hurricanes in game number 3. Just your thoughts on
that? Look, well, you see Joe Salerno, he's irritated and agitated that the referees wanted a hold on. There was some holding going on. We'll see if the referees have a big factor in the 3rd and 4th quarters. But listen, Storm played a pretty good B+ first half. They could have had a 20-point lead in my estimates here. Listen, Halifax has to go in, get back, and play their basketball. How did they get here? How did they win so many games? Figure that out and come back and have a good 3rd quarter.
Okay, so at the break, the Storm lead this one 51-41. We'll come back right after these messages with our halftime report.
What's in my hockey stick? Mine's full of fun and exploding with exercise. It's stuffed with self-confidence, packed with practice makes perfect, and loaded with leadership. I keep it taped together with teamwork. I think it's made of carbon fiber, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a big brother?
So what do you want to do this weekend?
I want to go to the Canada Game Center. I want to go swimming on the big yellow slide, which goes outside.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Definitely do that for sure.
Yeah.
Probably go bowling too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids with mentors grow up to be more successful adults. Supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters is a great way to have a positive impact on your community. To volunteer or make a donation, go to bigbrothersbigsisters.ca.
Dozens of maritime children are injured each year when TVs and furniture fall on them. Avoid putting things children want on top of the television. Never place heavy TVs on top of unstable furniture. Use a low, stable surface and push it back as far as possible. If a child might climb on it, attach furniture to the wall with safety straps or anchors. Supervise small children at all times.
Save the climbing for the playground.
For more information on preventing injuries, visit childsafetylink.ca.
Being a referee in any sport can be very tough and very demanding. And in this edition of Champions Untold, Raisa Lalani finds out why Claude Daniels decided to convert from volleyball player to volleyball ref.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Claude Daniels is a referee in Nova Scotia. Why did you start refereeing?
Thank you for having me. This is an honor. It's a treat. I've been playing for several years. I started coaching, and about 2 years into coaching, I figured there's one more angle of the sport to grasp, and it was refereeing.
Now, a lot of people probably don't think that way, but this is one of the most important roles. You can't have a sport without officials. So what is the process about becoming a referee? How does it work?
Well, first and foremost, the most important participants of the sport are the players. And we're here to spectate and make sure everybody has a good time. So the process to become a referee is you take part in a clinic. It would be a level 1 clinic or a local clinic. And that could be a weekend event. And then you would find yourself doing a handful of matches, being evaluated, get a lot of feedback. From there, you've got your level 1, now you're reffing matches, and depending on how many you do and how you progress, you'd move up into your second level, which is your provincial, your third into your regional. In Canada, the highest would be your national.
So how many national referees are there in Nova Scotia?
We've got about 10 active national referees. We also have an international referee.
So the sport is ever changing. How, as a referee, do you guys kind of keep up with the knowledge and the changes that happen in the sport?
Fabulous question. A lot of players and coaches are under the assumption or presumption that we show up to a match, we do the match, and we go home. But there's a lot of prep involved before every match, before every season. So we have mini exams that we do. We have refresher exams that we do. We also get together once a month, and we throw ideas, throw events, throw situations, scenarios back and forth, discuss what we did, discuss what we could have done. We're constantly reading our material, which is made up of rule book, frequently asked questions, FIVB guidelines. So there's a lot of material that we go through, that we read. We get together and we discuss all these things all the time. So we put in quite a bit of time and preparation before every single match. Some matches that are taped, for example, a lot of AUS matches are taped. We have access to those tapes and we watch them. We watch them. We watch teams before we go to a match. We watch our performance after a match.
So it's ever learning. And how does a governing body like Volleyball Nova Scotia have to do with referees and officials? Would that happen without this sports organization? Is that possible?
No. We all work together. We need to work together. We do work together, and we work together very well.
So as a referee, a lot of people might think that you are the reason that a match might turn out a certain way. Do you find that you guys are blamed for going on a power trip as a referee?
Everybody has an opinion over how a call should have been made or not been made. I'll tell you, the best match that I can ever do is a match where I go up on the stand an hour and a half later, step off the stand, and nobody knows I was even there. Let the players play their game, let the players decide the match, and I will step in only when I need to, only when I must step in, only when a team has done something that has given them advantage over another team. Otherwise, it's all about them. We're going up on the stand, we just want to watch you guys start, we want to watch you guys have an amazing match, and then we want to tell you guys when you're done.
Now, we have to remember that we are all humans in this, and when sports, we're so passionate about it as coaches, as players. You know, if there is some controversy that you have to face, or if there is adversity, how do you personally shake that off?
We all make mistakes. We do, and of course, it would be great if every match was perfect, you know, and we walked in and absolutely nothing happened. That's not always the case. We just have to remind ourselves that every point is the point, and when that rally is done and that point is over, we need to put that behind us, whether we're on the lines, whether we're on the floor, whether we're up on the stand, and then go to the next point and just make sure we do better on the next point and better on the point after that. We can't look back. You can't make up. Just the best way to make up for a bad call is make amazing calls going forward.
So how are you guys evaluated?
Well, in the province, we have a handful of nationally certified evaluators and supervisors. I received my certification to be a national evaluator. So I would make my way to events that other referees are doing their matches. I'd be up in the stands, taking my notes, After the match, we all get together and we discuss what happened, what didn't happen, what should have happened. And so we evaluate each other. We also self-evaluate. That's the important part of progressing and becoming a better referee, is going back over what did I do, why didn't I do it, and how can I do it better.
So, I mean, the natural progression, going through it myself, is there's a lot of players that want to play a sport. And then sometimes players, maybe after they retire, become coaches. Do you find, is there a shortage of referees in the province right now, or do you find that's kind of a natural progression? You mentioned that you wanted to see the other aspect of the game, but a lot of people don't think that way.
We always need referees, yes. The more that are willing to come out and learn to officiate and take the level 1 course, the better. We're holding clinics all the time, and we'll hold more if there's more refs that want to come out and referee. So there are some refs that after the first year or second year step away. We understand that. But there's a lot of refs that stick with it, and they keep going, and they reach a point where they may not want to ref, but they'll continue as evaluators and as mentors and stay a part of the game.
Strike by Heartland, but right again, a white ball set up there, blocked there by Rachel Green. Across here for New Nova Scotia, Akadushu. Well, it scores! And a goal by Tede Akadushu takes it 1-0 here in the 14th minute. Decisive factor so far as the cross was pretty good. Akadushu looking for a second, and Yastaria just scores! Here's a gift here from Prince Edward Island. Can they take advantage of it? Yes, they do! Go, Maddie Hurley! Another cross here for Nova Scotia. And squeaks in. And a goal! I'm sure Muse would like to have that one. She got a piece of it, but not enough. Maya Harnish and Bowles want to give the challenge. We saw her win a challenge against Kennedy moments ago. As I mentioned, great goal. Tough to defend on. That was one-on-one. Big battle. Nova Scotia still has the ball. There's Freeman now. A strike and a goal! Sarah Pittman. With a shot and a goal. What a nice one by Freeman as she dangled and went towards the middle, and with the left strike.
Into the middle there, they score! Newfoundland quick strike offense. The cross came in, and it was Zolo with the corner, and Honda with the finish. Billy looking around, anxious, gets it back to Buck. Buck well down the field. Boucher tries to run onto it. Here's Healy, brings it in. Healy gets challenged for taking off the ball, and it's down. By unofficial time, I was just about to say, we're approaching the end, and three blasts from the referee's whistle brings it in to an excellent game of soccer between New Brunswick and Newfoundland and Labrador.
Glad you can join us here as we get set for third quarter action. A 51-41 lead for the Storm over the Halifax Hurricanes here in game number 3 of this Atlantic Division Final. Just a reminder, Island Storm basketball on 5TV1 brought to you by Insight Brand and Marketing. Experience Insight. So far in this contest, the man leading the way from the perspective of the Storm is Jahi Carson. Did not have what you would call a great game in game number 2 in Halifax. Game number 2, he shot just 1 of 17 from the field, 6 points, 5 rebounds. Right now in this contest, he's got 18 points on 7 of 10 shooting from the field. He is 3 of 5 from three-point range. So an outstanding game so far for Jahi Carson. Meanwhile, for Halifax, you have leading the way Ronaldo Dixon, as he has 9 points on 3 of 4 from the field. And Dixon filling in a little bit for the injured C.J. Washington. Also filling in for the injured C.J. Washington is Anthony Cox. So big shoes to fill for those two players. And right now, from the field, you have the Island Storm. They are shooting 50%, 20 of 40 from the field. And Halifax shooting just 39.4%. And that's a figure that's got to improve greatly here in this third quarter.
They got to get back to shooting their shots. They're kind of like caught off guard a little bit with the positioning and where their shots are coming from. So make sure you run through the offense. I'm sure Mike Leslie would have talked to his gang about moving the basketball, getting in position, and shooting to score.
So we're seconds away from getting this third quarter underway.
And this is a big game. This is a big game for both teams. You know, the 2-1 lead in this series is a major psychological advantage. I mean, the Storm, you saw it in game 2. The Storm, they look like the team that was, even though they lost, they look like the team that was in control of the basketball game. And Halifax has to get that back somehow and be the Eastern lead champions and get back to playing with a lead. So this is nothing. Here comes Akeem Ellis trying to get the crowd going. The Storm were able to rest a lot of their guys too in that first half. So they're going to be a little bit fresher than I think this Halifax Hurricane team.
Talked about Jahi Carson, the great first half he's had. Billy White, only 6 points on 2 of 9 from the field. He does have 7 rebounds, though. They have to get Billy White going in this one.
He's just not catching the ball in the position to score. He's a screener. He's a ball reversal person. He's just in an awkward position if I were watching Billy White's game. So he's calling some screens again. There's where he should get a touch, right here.
Billy White up against A.J. Stewart, trying to back him down. Nice move by Billy White. And we'll see if that gets this Halifax team rolling on offense a little bit.
And I mean, he caught that in the most awkward corner position and scored out of it. That's how good Billy White is.
Jahi Carson, he was the star of that first half for the Storm. And there's A.J. Stewart knocking that shot down. Hey, if he can do that on a regular basis, takes so much pressure off of Jahi, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, and Billy White's got to play both offense and defense now because he's guarding somebody who could potentially get hot.
Here's Cox fade away, Jay.
And this is by design. See, Mike Leslie said we're going to go inside. To start this quarter, we got to go inside. Cox gets a look. Billy gets a look. So very good strategies. Not rocket science. Just get your 4 and 5 guys into it.
A ball kicked out to Jahi Carson by Terry Thomas. The alley and the non-oops. Yeah, non-oop. So the Storm getting a little wild there with their play in the offensive half court, making a little bit of a miscue.
Yeah, those are there. Those aren't bad passes. It's just a little bit outstretched, but there's some openings there for them to do that. So they're going inside again.
Here's Clinkscales down for Cox. Back to Clinkscales, fakes it. Going to try it from three-point range. Iron rebound to Billy White. Here's Mason. He's going to drive. Gets bumped, and his shot doesn't get to the hoop. Back the other way. Ellis. Richter wide open for 3. And he missed that one.
And Ellis has to stay in rebounding position. He paid the pass, and he kind of ran off the floor. I'm like, you got to stay in rebounding position.
Oh, nice bounce pass there as Clinkscales got it to Mason.
And the first 3 baskets Halifax has, they're all attacking baskets. They're not shooting the ball out of position, fading away. And this is by design, so they've been told you need to attack here.
53-47. 9:41 remaining in the third quarter. Storm trying to take a 2-1 lead in this Atlantic Division final. And that's a foul on Akeem Ellis by Antoine Mason. And Mason having a very animated conversation with the official.
Yeah, and he's saying the same thing happened to me down at the other end. And the referee's saying, I'm practicing my soccer drills. So that's an important trip to the foul line right now. You stop a little bit of Halifax's momentum. And there's not much a Storm can do. These Halifax 4s and 5s are key. So there's, with CJ Washington out, you need Cox to come in and play strong. He didn't have necessarily a good first half. He started off well here in the second half, which could be problems for the Storm.
Anthony Cox spent 5 years with the Harlem Globetrotters, who were recently in Charlottetown. A different type of basketball.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's Watson. He thought of shooting, goes baseline. And they're going to say he stepped out.
Oh, foul.
Oh, foul.
Foul. That's on Billy White.
Wow, that was definitely away from the ball there.
Yeah. Comes as a double team. Yeah, I don't want to be doing that with Jahi Carson. This is what happens. You get him open space.
A.J. Stewart looking for options here. Lays off a nice pass here for Terry Thomas. Gets the hoop and the harm.
And Halifax, listen, you got to settle down. You can't be jumping guys out of Jahi Carson. Nobody's taking the ball off him. Get back, set it. And that first mistake on defense caused a chaos. And when there's Terry Thomas on the floor who puts the ball down once, twice, oof, this is what happens, a 3-point play. Nope, 2-point. Missed the free throw.
Yeah, he missed some key 3 throws late in that second game in Halifax.
You can tell there's bumping going on down low.
Here's Watson. Little hook shot. Comes up short.
Good shot, though, by the Hurricanes.
Here's Jahi Carson, just knifes his way through that defense.
Oh, yeah. Determined for his 20th point of the game.
Clinkscales dishes off to White. And Billy White will head to the charity stripe.
Yeah, and he's got to be the answer too. He's got to keep his team in this game. I'm seeing signs of fatigue from him. He played a lot in that first half, and this has been a pretty grinding series for him thus far. So, I mean, he needs to rest when he can, and be there and do this for his Halifax Hurricanes team.
9 points now for Billy White. 9 boards. 3 of 10 from the field. Makes both of the shots from the line. It's now a 10-point lead for the Storm.
And watch the physicality here between Clinkscales and Carson. These guys are going at it tonight, so it's a premier matchup in the NBL.
That ball almost picked off. Richter from his knees gets it to Ellis. Carson drives off the glass and in. Jahi Carson is having a night here, folks. Back the other way, Billy White, nice move.
So he's answering all the calls. So they've done this before. They've gotten on Billy White's back and gone places. So they're going to need him today in this third quarter. They are trying to force Terry Thomas left.
And a foul, I believe, against Antoine Mason?
Yeah. Antoine Mason is way overplaying that. that side almost too much. So we'll see if we'll see what Terry Thomas does, because he can go left. He can. They're trying to get him on the other side.
Here comes Richter off the screen. They go to Baines instead. He goes down the lane, and Terrell Baines gets the deuce.
And that's a Storm out of bounds play. They run it a lot, but they run it very, very well.
Here's Antoine Mason wide open for three. Watson gets the loose ball.
That floor is going to get a little slick.
Here's Clink Scales. Not happy with the way they're moving things around here. Here's Watson. He'll try a wide open shot. Nothing but air from Tyrone Watson. And this Halifax offense out of sync.
Yeah, and the Storm fans are going to remind them that that didn't hit very much.
So Otino's going to come in and spell Watson for a bit. Kenny Otino out of the University of Alberta. So a 63-51 lead, 7:05 remaining in the third quarter. Game 3, Atlantic Division Final. The Central Division Final also going on tonight. Windsor taking on London. London, they lead that series 2-0. Here's Ellis from downtown. Loose ball.
Oh, good hustle by the Hurricanes.
And picked up by Mason. Mason, that was off the iron and out. Then Billy White.
Call a foul.
Foul on Al Richter.
You know, and what makes Billy White so good is that he knows where to go. His positioning, and he'll wait there, and he's so long. See, that he just went to the three-point line and poof, instant shot. I mean, maybe it was bad defense, but he knows where to go when the other players are shooting and puts himself in the best rebounding position possible.
Here's Ellis to Terrell Baines. Second opportunity. Here's a third opportunity for Al Richter, and he's fouled as he drove.
And good decision by Al Richter. Again, that was three opportunities. You don't see that against this Halifax team. Offensive rebounding, nice pass there. A little bit sporadic. There's 2-3. And you see Al Richter go up strong. It's a lot of pressure on your defense to give up offensive rebounds like that.
Right now, Halifax, they've turned the ball over in this contest 13 times, and the Storm, they've converted 18 points on those 13 turnovers.
Yeah, so we played 6 minutes, no subs, or AJ, yeah. There's been one sub for the Storm, a few subs for the Hurricanes. So we'll see if fatigue starts to become a factor here.
Antoine Mason, White, Clink Scales. Dixon trying to set a screen. Here's Mason wide open in the corner, and Antoine Mason.
And those are the shots that Halifax hasn't really been hitting very much lately. And that's a huge, that shot there by Mason was huge.
And that's a foul against Clink Scales. And Antoine Mason trying to plead his case. Trying to plead Clink Scales' case to no avail.
Yeah, he's not happy.
So, okay, 5:57 remaining in the third quarter. 65-57, Storm in front. We're going to take a break. We'll come back to Charlottetown right after this.
What's in my hockey stick? Mine's full of fun and exploding with exercise. It's stuffed with self-confidence, packed with practice makes perfect, and loaded with leadership. I keep it taped together with teamwork. I think it's made of carbon fiber, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Island Storm basketball on 5TV1 is brought to you by Shamrock Trust, a proud partner of the Island Storm with locations in Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. Here in the third quarter from Charlottetown, the Island Storm with a 65-57 lead over the Halifax Hurricanes. Game 3 of the Atlantic Division Final. The Storm trying to take a 2-1 lead in this series. Peter Ruckazer alongside Gord McNeely and the 5TV1 crew. What might be discussed in this huddle here if you're the Island Storm?
They got to stop Billy White. They got to either send a double team, make sure he doesn't hurt you on the initial shot and the rebound after that. He's really been active, and he's done a good job of keeping this Halifax team in this game. If it wasn't for him, could be big problems. For the Storm, keep running your stuff. Make sure you get the best shot possible. Don't forget, Jahi Carson is on your team. Make sure he gets the ball back because he's deadly.
Billy White started this quarter off with just 6 points. He now has 15 so far, and he's got 10 assists, so he's got a double-double. There's Jahi Carson, Baines, baseline Jay, hitting it. Terrell Baines had a pretty good game here tonight.
Yeah, and he's the most consistent big man in the league with that jump shot. It's just... It's unbelievably consistent, so good for Mr. Baines.
12 points for Baines, and Billy White is hacked, and a foul against the Storm here as Al Stewart's getting ready to check back in.
Yeah, good foul, and you'll see it here. Watch the post entry, and Terrell Baines went over the top for the ball. You can't do that. You got to make sure you just keep your hips driving at Billy White to try to get him out further and further. Then when he catches it, turn and square him and play him. That's all you can do with a player that good.
That one rolls in for Billy White right now. Halifax doing a pretty good job from the charity stripe, 81.8%. Storm not so good, 69.2%.
Yeah, and I guess this third quarter, it's been kind of like an exchange of infantry soldiers, you know, back and forth. But really, you want to see which team is going to go on this big run here.
Air ball there from Terry Thomas. He's a little upset with himself with that shot there.
Yeah, he got stuck in between shooting that ball. So it's either shoot the three or drive hard. You kind of get stuck in between. Your team needs you to drive hard.
67-59 for the Storm.
And they're really trying to get it into Billy White. So good defense there by Baines. When the ball goes in, you got to make sure you put a body on White here.
Billy White faces up here against Baines, kicks it out. That's Ortino. Oh, nice little floater by Ortino.
Smart play, because Billy White's causing so much attention on one side. When you get it on the other side, you're going to have a little bit more freedom.
There's Jahi Carson. Oh, good defense there by Dixon.
Yeah. Big block. Whoa. What?
And that's a call on Al Stewart.
Yeah.
Take a look at it here.
Watch this. Like, what do you do? He was right there. I mean, anyway.
You're not in agreement.
No, I'm not in agreement because, yeah, I mean, technically, if you look in his feet aren't square, his hips aren't down and stuff, but the offensive player cannot go through you.
There's Billy White, and he's getting pumped up here, and that could mean some trouble here for the Island Storm.
Big problems now. He is destroying this team.
Here's A.J. Stewart. He gets the ball knocked out of his hands by Billy White. He is intense right now.
Yeah, exactly, Peter. He's getting fired up, and he's trying to get his team going, but he's in a zone himself personally, and that's good news for Halifax.
Here's Baines. 9 on the shot clock. A.J. Stewart. Oh, another great defensive play by Ronaldo Dixon. And that ball knocked out by Terry Thomas. He almost went for a spill over that desk there.
Yeah, and this game is getting close, and that last shot was a good one. You just got A.J. Stewart got stuck on his left hand, left side, and just didn't feel very comfortable with that shot.
So the tide has changed a little bit here.
You need to send help.
Halifax looking like a brand new team here in this third quarter, and there's Antoine Mason.
Yeah, and so now the Halifax is playing to their strengths, and the Storms have gotten away from their strengths. You saw with that one dribble pull up off that, Terry Thomas had a one dribble pull up straight, so they're not running anything worth talking about right now. So they got to get back. Maybe he's coming close to a timeout coming for the Storm soon, but get back to doing what you do best.
Seems like they're trying to force things just a little too much here. Here's Dixon wide open. Can't get the three. Now Terry Thomas will push it up. Here's Baines. Baines is fouled, and Terrell Baines will head to the free throw line.
And there you go. You remember that you're a good fast-breaking team, but Halifax hasn't missed any shots because they're all in close, and this is designed by Mike Leslie to get better shots. They're getting better shots, no rebounds. Storm cannot fast break.
I mean, we've said it so many times before. I mean, that's their bread and butter. They got to get inside, right, if you're Halifax.
Oh, without a doubt. And Billy White's out, and if you're a Storm player, you're like, whew, thank goodness.
Yeah. I mean, he's come out here like a house on fire. He's got 19 points now in this game. So he's had 13 points here with just 3:13 remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, and he's passing the ball. He just does everything. Offensive rebounds. He's just one of those guys like a Royce White who's deadly at doing all those things. But those two free throws were the two biggest points of the game for the Storm right there by Terrell Baines from the foul line. Now you got to take advantage. 3 minutes left with Billy White in the bench. You got to go strong after this Halifax team.
Fans want some defense here from the Storm. Here's Mason. Left that one a little short. Great
catch.
save, yeah, by Joey Haywood. And he'll slow things down, try to set things up. Haywood wants to drive, kicks it out, wide open. Ortino off the iron. Dixon in there, trying to get that rebound, and now a foul against A.J. Stewart.
It's on Al Stewart.
Oh, Al Stewart,
Yeah,
okay.
He was
Ron
face
Stewart.
guarding. He was face guarding. I mean, and this is what happens when you get scrambling out of position. You can't rebound. You can't find your checks to put a body on somebody.
And no offense to Al Stewart, if there's a Stewart that's going to get a foul, it should be Al. They can't afford to lose A.J. Stewart here.
No, you definitely can't, especially with the way Billy White's playing. That's his kryptonite. Actually, the way Billy White's playing, I don't know if anybody could guard him right now. So he's taking a break. Storm have to be aggressive and attack hard.
19 points, 11 rebounds, 4 dimes for Billy White. Here's Terrell Baines with a jumper and leaves that one short. Nothing working right now for the Island Storm. 2:22 remaining in the third. Here's Haywood. Dixon. Oh, nice spin move on Terrell Baines as he goes baseline.
Oh, wow.
And
look at the Halifax
no foul.
bench is things are being thrown.
Mike Leslie wanted a foul there, and he's kind of beside himself. Let's see.
Yeah. I don't think he completely had position, but, I mean, the contact was so strong that, I mean, it's probably about a 60-40 call right there.
Storm by 4. Late stages of the third quarter. Game number 3, Atlantic Division Final. Series tied at 1. Jahi Carson inside A.J. Stewart. He gets bumped, and A.J. Stewart will head to the line.
Yeah. And that's good job, good catch by A.J. Stewart for a big man. So Billy White's coming back in this game, too. I'm sure Mike Leslie did not want to bring in Clinkscales, too. So the importance of this 4-point to 6-point lead is going to be huge. Halifax in a good position right now.
Clinkscales has 4 fouls. And we're in the late stages of the third quarter, so he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
As for Billy White, he has 2 fouls.
The Storm, they have to find some sort of bounce in their step here, because they just this third quarter was not good for them. End of the second, into the third has been a little bit sleepy for them. So they got to regroup and say, whoa, we've got to protect home court and play better defense and finish things like simple foul shots. That one went in by the grace of.
So it's now 70-65 lead for the Storm. Need to close out this third quarter. Joey Haywood has other thoughts. Ortino.
You're not going to get that call.
Ortino gets it stripped by Al Stewart. Al puts it up, gets it to go.
I thought I heard a whistle, but no, what a steal. We'll be able to hopefully see that one again. That was something else. Look at the battle down there now. A.J. Stewart.
Ortino, he bobbled it. Haywood, that's no good. Yeah, there's a lot of muscling and pushing going on down low.
Yeah, and that's what the Storm need to do with Billy. I mean, he's going to play. Is he going to play 37 minutes a game? Then you're gonna make him work for position and everything else.
Under a minute now in the third quarter. Baines gets it inside for A.J. Stewart. Too strong.
His shoulders were fading away from the basket on that play. Just a fraction. Makes a huge difference.
Clinkscale, excuse me. Swing it out, Joey Haywood. That was in and out. Oh, Billy White came out of nowhere. And they're gonna say that is Halifax ball.
How in the world did he get that rebound? That was, you know, that's the type of player he is. He just comes in, flies in. And look at that steal. Left hand in. You were not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, and he's done that a number of times. One of the top players in the league in terms of steals this season.
Wow.
Billy White, nice first step by Billy White, but can't finish.
19 seconds left.
That was lightning quick there from Billy White.
It was unbelievable.
12 seconds remaining. Here's Al Stewart with a jumper. Loose ball. Dixon, who's had a very strong third quarter here.
Shot a little bit early. See if it comes back to haunt the Storm right here.
There's Dixon. Oh, off the window and in. A long-range three. As I said, Dixon brought in here to replace C.J. Washington, who's injured, and he has played fantastic in this third quarter.
Wow, and now it's, you know what? That is, if you're Joe Salerno, you're bringing the guys in and saying, what in the world are you shooting the basketball with 9 seconds left on the shot clock to end a quarter? Okay, that's not a professional thing to do, and he's going to ream them about that, and that's exactly why.
So that does it for 3 quarters of basketball. We'll come back with a fourth right after this. Storm in front, 72-68 over the Hurricanes. Game 3 of the Atlantic Division Finals.
What's my soccer ball? Well, the air inside, it has superpowers. There are tons of little teachers inside that help me learn about things like collaboration and perseverance. With each kick, those powers get a little stronger. I think it's made out of polyurethane, though.
Give them the chance to discover what their equipment is made of. Give them the chance to play. Visit sportnovascotia.ca to find out how you can help.
Did you know falls are the #1 reason children in Atlantic Canada are hospitalized? Help make your home safer for kids of all ages by using or installing a window stop. Screens are not enough to prevent falls. Protect small children by using a screw-mounted gate at the top of the stairs. Be careful not to trip over your pets, and keep clutter and toys off of the stairs and floors.
We can all help our home be a safer place.
Welcome back to Charlottetown, everybody. Time now for the All-Scout Kiss Off the Glass, and we're going to feature Antoine Mason.
Yeah. And look at that. Body control. That is not easy to do. Turns his shoulders square, finds the backboard, kisses it high off the backboard. Shot blockers can't get it. Mr. Mason, you just earned yourself the Oscar kiss off the glass.
And he definitely has some basketball IQ, and he should. He's got basketball genes. He's the son of the late, great Anthony Mason, former New York Knick.
Exactly. And then going into the fourth quarter, might have gotten a little emotional there with the Storm shooting. Gee. Oh, it's fun. I love this game. I love these teams. They're playing hard.
Oh, Rashad Wack, he goes for a spill. Storm recover. Here's Ellis. And
yeah, Billy White's going to complain that Hakeem laid the shoulder.
So Billy White gets called for the foul.
Yeah, he's saying, look, you watch us. You cleared him off. Watch his left hand on this penetration. Is this right there? And that's what they were discussing about. So, and you can't defend it much better than that. So
Al Stewart will inbound the ball here. Here's Rashad Wack, fade away, yes,
that's
for three.
Crazy.
Rashad Wack.
What a shooter. Textbook, gets his shoulder square, turns and shoots it fast. Oof, that's not easy to do. One of the hardest skills in basketball.
And a turnover there by Halifax as Wack gets it done both offensively and defensively on that sequence.
Yeah, exactly. Just a slippery ball. You got to just concentrate a little bit harder to get that ball into your hands.
Mike Allison. Here's Terry Thomas. Tries this jumper. And now the Storm feeling it once again, getting their game back in order.
Well, and he's struggled here in the last 15 minutes or so, Terry Thomas. So that was big for him, and you could feel it. The Storm haven't been playing well, and that's because Terry Thomas has been a little bit quiet.
Storm by 8, and there's Joey Haywood.
Just a different speed and athleticism. And
Storm by 6, basically just underway in the fourth quarter. Game number 3. Here's Rashad Wack, misses. Haywood with the rebound. Clink Scales. Haywood. Al Stewart in his face. Long range 3, no good.
And Peter, when Haywood's playing, it's almost like if you're watching like a YouTube video and they speed it up just a fraction and everything's just a little bit faster. That's how you look at Haywood and you're like, wow. So that's it's neat to watch him play.
Haywood, Jahi Carson, Al Stewart, their speed is just so phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's an example of that right there. Al Stewart going baseline, and he is fouled. I mean, just the speed and the ability to handle the ball at the same time is just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And this is Al Stewart's a penetrating guard, penetrating dish, penetrating kind of crafty lab, 5'11". Doesn't like to shoot the 3 that much. It's his last kind of resort. But he can, if he gets hot, he can hurt you.
It's 5 points so far tonight for Al. Yeah, he doesn't like to shoot the 3. He hasn't shot one here this evening at all. And the veteran makes both of those shots from the charity stripe.
I'm sure his daughter's watching. Again, from Chicago. Nice young man. We love him here in Charlottetown.
I think he's got a future as a coach when his playing career is over.
Oh, yeah. Here comes the double team. You can
double
that's
team,
new.
triple team almost right there. Here comes Haywood, little floater. And Mike Allison couldn't get his hands on it, but Terry Thomas does to Al Stewart. Lays it in off the window.
Yeah, and this place just exploded. There's a lot of tension released on that layup, I think, in this building.
The alley.
Are you kidding me? That was a crazy catch.
I don't know how Billy White kept that in.
He wants it.
Bounce pass to Haywood. Dixon is in there, and he gets swarmed and is fouled.
Yeah. And Rashad Wack had the nicest, cleanest hands in there. The foul was on the body. And that was a nice layup. Terry Thomas, and he would if when he watches this back, he'll know that he needed to dribble in his left hand, separate the two guys. It worked out that time. So you want to have a 2-on-1 coming in from both angles, and he brought it a little bit more into the middle. But this is a good chance that Halifax can get to the foul line again, get their defensive set, and then come back with Billy White.
Dixon with 10 points so far tonight.
And we'll keep you updated on whenever we get a shot, we'll give you a synopsis of the rebounding. Oh. Who's winning the rebounding battle tonight?
Terry Thomas tried that bounce pass to Allison, didn't work. Here's Clinkscales. Oh, good defense by Terry Thomas. Loose ball. Who's going to get it? Wow. And it's Al Stewart.
Look at the fight.
And Billy White took a little swipe there at Mike Allison, back the other way. And it's going to be Storm ball.
These kids are working hard.
In terms of rebounds, it is 37-32 in favor of Halifax.
Yeah, so again, they're winning the rebound the battle. So the Storm has some stuff they can work on.
We've got Antoine Mason and Terry Thomas doing a little pushing and shoving.
No, trying to read their lips a little. My wife could read lips pretty good when we're watching. I always ask, what do they say?
And there's Rashad Wack. He's had a couple of big shots here in this fourth quarter.
He really has, and he's come on, and he had a good couple games in Halifax, really a difference maker. They went underneath that screen that time with Haywood, and that's something different. They were fighting through that screen in the first half.
82-71 in favor of the Storm. Mason ran out of track, got it to Haywood. Good ball movement. Clinkscales from downtown, that rolled out on him.
You're one or two fast breaks away from really opening this game up.
Thomas can't hit that shot. Here's Haywood.
Foul before.
And foul against the Storm. So Wack is tagged with that foul. That's his first of the contest.
Some of these teams on those fast breaks are getting caught in between in no man's land a little bit.
Oh, nice pass by Clinkscales, and Antoine Mason converts.
He's just strong, right? His dad was a strong player. I mean, he's strong. He just out-physicaled his opponent right there.
Al Stewart, he's got time and missed that one. You don't see that too often.
No. Just, you know, he's such a good shooter. He's just thinking about it a little bit. He's just kind of thinking about it. He's like, oh, I have to shoot here. And I know you know what that's like as a basketball player. When you're a penetrator, everything's about penetration. When it comes time to shoot, you don't quite believe in it. And he should really believe in it because he's a fantastic shooter.
Antoine Mason in the paint. And he was too strong off the window there.
Yeah, and he's playing well. He's really trying to do more for his team. I like how he's playing in this fourth quarter.
Clinkscales. Oh, that's a nice touch by the veteran out of DePaul.
So smooth.
82-75. Hurricanes trying to get back into this one. Here's Terry Thomas. Allison is there. Loose ball. That's going to be Storm ball.
Yeah, good turn, good attack in the basket by Thomas, and Allison with the follow. But listen, they're bringing AJ Stewart back in for the last 7 minutes. He's as fresh as a bounce sheet. So
Jahee Carson, you mean?
No, AJ Stewart.
Okay.
Sorry. And you see, that's what happens when you bring somebody back in who's fresh. He can attack the basket against weaker legs that have been playing 32 minutes. So good job by subbing by Mr. Salerno.
And also Jaheed Carson comes back in. So I don't think we're going to see Jaheed Carson take any more downtime in this game. 6:54 remaining. Jaheed Carson, 22 points to lead the way for the Storm. 9 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from three-point range, 2 rebounds, 6 dimes. I think that's a pretty good night.
Oh, man, that's fantastic.
Nice bounce pass there by Clinkscales. Got it for Dixon, and Dixon is fouled.
And you just don't know what to say because that's just way too easy. It's weird. It's so reactive. Your defense needs to set. That's off of foul shots. There's no way they could come down in a modified fast break, make one pass, and be 6 feet from your basket. So clean that up. There's 6 minutes left in this game. This is playoff action. Pick up everything that you do out there.
Speaking of picking up everything you do, Dixon and White have just been on fire here in this second half. They've really got this Halifax team going. And it's now 83-78 in favor of the Storm. There's Rashad Wack, and there was a foul away from that play. And
yeah, it's going
against Mason.
Yeah.
Antoine Mason gets tagged with another foul.
Yeah, Rashad Wack at the top, and they were just jockeying for position on the right side off a screen there. Just kind of a weird play over on the side. There was a screen off the ball.
That's the 4th foul for Antoine Mason.
They're going at it, though. There's some elbows and stuff being dropped and some little...
Oh, that's a deep 3. Rebound, Wack!
Yeah,
can't sink it.
Good offensive rebound.
Billy White renews his battle here with A.J. Stewart. And Billy White is fouled.
That's world-class move. You can just see it coming, just the way he caught the ball. When good offensive players catch the ball, they catch the ball down, their head goes, they know where they want to put it, they know what the defender's doing.
So Akeem Ellis will take a little seat here and rest up. So now 83-79.
So this is twice that the Storm have given up big leads. They were just at 11 points, and then before you know it, we're down to 3 2-point game here. I missed it. Of course, yeah.
And that's going to be Storm ball.
See, they're picking up the pressure a little bit.
A little bit of a press here from Halifax. They back off now. Rashad Wack. Baines inside for A.J. Stewart, and he'll hammer it down.
And that's the way you do it. When A.J. Stewart got back in there 2 minutes ago, remember I said he was fresh? Makes a big difference.
A big-time rejection. That was Terrell Baines. Nice bounce pass and the lay-in.
Oh, baby. That was faster than a nor'easter coming in.
Well, it is the Storm and the Hurricane, so.
Yeah. We'll probably get a replay on that.
Loose ball. Turnover.
Oh, I thought
it. And Jaheed Carson.
Time
gets
out.
The deuce. And
Halifax Hurricanes.
Wow, that was all because of the hustle of Rashad Wack.
And that's the thing is when we talked about fatigue just hit Halifax hard. This timeout should have been called about a minute ago.
Okay, 5:03 remaining in the 4th quarter. It's the Storm in front of Halifax, 89-79. Back for the conclusion of this one right after this.
Signor Caboto. On deck, sir. You won't believe your eyes.
Captain, over here! You must see this! Look at the gap down there. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Amazing. So
Codfish, so thick they stayed the progress of our ship. Your fleets have no further need of Iceland. Fish is enough to feed this kingdom, oh sire, until the end of time.
Welcome back, everybody, here in Charlottetown. 5:03 remaining in the fourth quarter of Game 3 of the Atlantic Division Final in the Storm. They've come on here a little bit, Gord. They now have themselves an 85-79 lead.
Yeah, and a stat that every coach doesn't want to talk about, points off of turnovers. And in the fourth quarter, those get augmented, and that's what happened. Storm had 3 points off turnovers, shots, a dunk, and 2 layups. So that will destroy your fourth quarter charge. And it's because, listen, this Halifax team has given everything they have in this playoff game today. They're playing good basketball, but they're not going very deep into that bench, and they're tired.
As we mentioned, no C.J. Washington, injured late in game number 2. And let me tell you something, it is hot, it is humid in this building here in Charlottetown.
Yeah. This is the first hot day of the year. That's it. Probably the last. No, it'll get warm. It'll get nice here.
So a 10-point lead now for the Storm. Here's Mason. Oh, that was in and out. Dixon follows up. He gets the bucket. Hoop in the arm, and he'll shoot to convert on the three-point play. Dixon has had a fantastic second half. I've said it repeatedly here, but boy, he's been very impressive.
Oh, yeah, and he's been, you know, he's really done some good things, especially his rebounding, keeping the balls alive, just being active, setting screens on for Billy White's man. And you don't see that, but I mean, huge, huge, huge important stuff.
So now it's a 7-point lead for the Storm. Trying to take a 2-games-to-1 lead in this Atlantic Division Final. Down low for A.J. Stewart. Dixon trying to contain him. That's a fadeaway shot. No good. And here's Joey Haywood. Clink scales. Nice screen there by Dixon in the corner for Haywood. Dixon knocks it away, but Thomas has it. And the Jahi Carson, he'll slow it down.
The inability for Halifax to hit that perimeter jump shot, is that what's going to be what defines this series for them?
Oh, ball stripped away from A.J. Stewart. Here's Mason, Haywood. No good the first time. And the Storm come back defensively. Rashid Wack, he gets fouled.
And that's a big call because Halifax got the turnover, couldn't connect on a little jump shot, and then the Storm come back and get to the foul line. And you look at the time, time's kind of not Halifax's friend right now, especially if these shots go down. Rashad Wack, a good foul shooter. Beautiful form. I try to get kids to watch the top of his form when he releases it. He puts a lot of backspin on this ball. See the backspin's perfect rotation.
So Storm in front, 91-82.
And they're forcing the Storm, doing a good job of forcing Halifax away from the three-point line.
Here's Mason, second opportunity. Haywood. Mason again will get a chance here. Can't sink that shot. And a foul going against Halifax.
Yeah. And that's Dixon too. And he was just working in there, and he He was falling. He just decided to bring somebody down to the mat. But good hustle. Watch here. Watch the inside play right there. And that was a foul. But Halifax, they got some fight in them. I like this team. Like, it's not easy to play on the road. And like you said, they're going to be spending the night here. What?
Not too sure why that whistle went off.
And the ref pointed to himself. So they're double teaming Jahi Carson. It's why it's hard to press professional players. They know what to do. You know, they're not going to get nervous by a little pressure. Oh, what a cut.
Nice pass by Baines to Jahi Carson.
Just lightning fast cut.
And that's Dixon that comes back and replies with a tray.
Man, good pro player. Dixon's really having a good season, especially a good game here today.
Like Tyrone Watson out of New Mexico State. Another great Canadian in this league from Toronto.
Good decision. Get it to your guard. 7 seconds on the shot clock.
Rashad Wack. Wow. Rashad Wack has come to play here in this second half.
That was not an easy pull-up.
95-85, 10-point lead. Whoa.
Dixon doing everything to keep this team in.
He's got the hot hand going. Terry Thomas almost lost it. Baines. Here's Terry Thomas. He'll hold up. He directs traffic.
The clock's the enemy right now for Halifax. So it's 7-point game. At least three possessions. 2 minutes on the clock.
Down to crunch time now. There's Rashad Wack. Left that one short.
You got to get back and set here. You can't allow anything easy.
Clink Scales, White.
No, that's what you can't allow.
And wow, that's three trays in a row for Dixon. And he's got that Halifax bench all pumped up and fired up and ready to go down the stretch. It's a 95-91 lead. Storm in front of the Hurricanes. They had a 10, 11-point lead here. And it's simply, it's almost evaporated.
Well, you think about it, Dixon just hit 3 threes in the span of about 45 seconds. I do not understand how you allow that to happen. You know, deny him, force him off the three-point line, get him out there. You can hit one, but sometimes you forget. You forget as a player. Geez, oh, my man's got fire. But this is the playoffs. So you got to make sure you get out there for him. So we'll be definitely talking about that as you see some highlights here. And we said this before, Peter, that the Storm have had at least four 10-point leads in this game, and Halifax is coming back each and every time. So figure it out. 1:47 left. Now it's a 4-point game. Anybody's game. Look at that jump shot. Was not easy right there.
Well, Mike Leslie said that he needed some people to step up with no C.J. Washington in the lineup. And boy, Ronaldo Dixon out of Toronto has stepped up big time.
And he stepped up rebounding first, playing his game, setting screens, and then when he had a chance to be a little bit more offensive, he took advantage of that. First inside, got his confidence up, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I have to shoot the ball now, coach. Shot clock's going down, one's in. Then the rim starts to get a little bit bigger, and you're like, 2 comes along, and 3 is like, you think you're Larry Bird from out there by the time you get that ball. So just like that, the Storm will have the ball, 1:47 left. But this is NBL action. This is why this lead is so good. You got to get out and support your teams. And this crowd is on their feet.
Crowd coming alive here in Charlottetown. They sense a victory. Storm have to try to close this one out. It's not going to be easy.
Good crowd here tonight. Half of PEI goes to an ice cream shop when it goes above 20. So
Storm by 4. Remember in game number 2, Halifax came back. They got a big shot in the late stages by Clink Scales, tied it up, sent it to overtime. Jahi Carson, A.J. Stewart. He'll get a second chance, gets it stripped. And a foul against Halifax.
Rick McKinnon with the call on the weak side on the second effort. That was off an offensive rebound. Misses the first shot, gets it back. There's the foul. Yep. And that foul's on Mason. Or Aaron Brown, sorry. He'll go to the bench. Whew. So these shots, bonus from the line. Halifax, when they get the ball back, they're going to have to try to score quickly. So Clinkscales will have the ball. I said Billy White's going to come out and set a screen for him. And then they're going to try to get something on the board quickly, going to the basket.
They missed some free throws down the stretch in game number 2. And right there, Stewart makes that one.
I was going to say, we can't talk about that for the next 10 seconds or so. Thanks for tuning in from Halifax. Good fans in Halifax. This is a great program, this Hurricane program. Wow.
And those are 2 big free throws from A.J. Stewart. So 97, 91, 128 remaining in regulation.
We're going to put it up quickly here. 1 or 2 screens. Yeah, that's a good play right there because that man's
can
hot.
He make another 3? No.
So now time's an issue. Are you going to foul? You can't foul now. There's no real point. You got to play it out.
Storm by 6. Jahi Carson underneath the bucket.
7 seconds of the shot clock.
A.J. Stewart with it. Back to Jahi.
Oh,
he just tossed that one up as the shot clock was running down.
It's all right, you used the full shot clock.
Clinkscales. Antoine Mason baseline.
Oh, easy call. That's a charge, folks.
And that's a charge on Antoine Mason.
And they take the points off of the board. But, I mean, that's exactly what you want to do if you're Halifax. You've got to be that aggressive. It's the right play. It's just the help defender was there. And then you said Rashad Wack came down and took care of the weak side offensive player. So good team defense.
45.2 seconds remaining. 6-point lead for the Storm. White moved up trying to create some pressure. Here's Wack. 13 on the shot clock. And it looks like the Island Storm. Here's Wack. And that'll put the nail in the coffin right there.
That kid's having a great last 10 games or so.
Back the other way, no good.
And that'll do it.
And 16.9 seconds.
Yeah.
And wow, what a great second half from Rashad Wack as he helped to facilitate the offense, take some pressure off Jahi Carson's shoulders.
He really did, and there was a big storm brewing there, a big hurricane for a while. And Halifax played well to get back in this basketball game. But when you bring back subs like we talked about, A.J. Stewart, Rashad Wack comes back in, Jahi Carson comes back in, it's so difficult to be on the court when those guys are fresh coming in the game.
So the Storm will take a 2-1 lead in this series. And game number 4 will be Saturday, 7 p.m. Atlantic time.
Right here, yes.
And you'll have it right here. Gordon, myself will have the contest for you on 5TV1. And boy, there were some dicey moments there for the Storm, especially in the third quarter, because Halifax, they regrouped. They got in the dressing room, redid the game plan, and Billy White came out like a house on fire. Ronaldo Dixon really showed up. Antoine Mason, his game went to another level. And it kind of seemed that, you know, Charlottetown or Island Storm were going to be in big trouble, but they regrouped.
Yeah, and I mean, it just took Halifax a little bit too long to find their rhythm in the first half, where their shots were going to come from, who was going to. In the third quarter, they were a simple game plan: go to Billy White, go inside, and that worked incredibly well for them. So, I mean, those two players did fantastic. The Storm they're getting more offensive production out of more people, and that's really hard to defend against. So if it's not Terry Thomas, it's Carson, and then your 4 and 5 people are playing good. So they're just playing good team basketball, and it's really, really hard to stop that.
So the crowd here in Charlottetown, they are showing their appreciation. Jahi Carson,
yeah,
showing his appreciation for the fans.
And he had a fantastic game.
Much better game tonight.
Yeah.
You can't be Superman every night, but tonight we saw the Jahi Carson that we all know and love.
You know, what I often say to young kids playing is that he started off, he got an easy basket in the game. And if you're, it doesn't matter if you're Michael Jordan or anybody in this league, get at something positive to happen early in a basketball game. Then you can get into the game. And that's what Jahi Carson did tonight.
Clink Scales for 3, and that goes. And a foul. And hey, the Storm, they're going to take a 2-1 lead, but don't think for a minute this series is going to come to an end anytime soon. I still believe this is going to be a long, hard-fought series.
Oh, without a doubt. I do believe too. This Halifax team is too good. I mean, they're facing a little bit of adversity. Had some injuries. I mean, short bench. It's difficult on the road this late in the season. They'll figure out a way to regroup and bounce back for Game 4 here.
You know, as much as Cox and Dixon have filled in for the injured C.J. Washington, and they've done a great job, doesn't replace a great player totally like C.J. Washington.
No, he is just a. Yeah, you think about it: 24 points and 11 rebounds out of your lineup between games. It's got to come from somewhere.
C.J. Washington, a player that averaged 16.8 points per game during the regular season. One of the top scorers in this league.
So the coaches all have a few timeouts left here, so.
Okay, 11.8 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Storm in front, 103-94. We'll come back after this commercial break. Welcome back to Charlottetown. There you see Jahi Carson. He's quite happy, I think. That's a happy dance.
Yeah, he's following the Stormy in center court. And the Stormy's having a good dance out there. Yeah, and the Storm fans are pretty excited, and so are the players. I mean, this is a pretty big deal for this team. The fans stuck with this team all season long. There were some dud games here and some good ones, and I mean, now they're playing at a very high level. So good for them sticking with this program.
And some of the additions in the second half of the season, picking up Mike Allison, picking up Rashad Wack. There's a bucket there by Haywood, and also the emergence of youngsters like Richter and States. I mean, that's really made a big difference for this Island Storm team, and now they take a 2-1 lead in the Atlantic Division Final.
Yeah, so they're going to be, listen, the best thing I could give you advice is like celebrate, get your hands up in the air, have fun, and then tomorrow you come back and try to get down to business and practice tomorrow, and make sure you work on a few little gaps in your defense there. Your one-on-one defense against Billy White has to come. And then after that, you need to just get ready for that game on Saturday. Tune in Saturday.
Yes, definitely. Saturday, 7 p.m. Atlantic time, right here on 5TV1. We'll have Game 4 of the Atlantic Division Final between the Island Storm and Halifax. The final score from Charlottetown this evening, Island Storm win game number 3, 103-96 over Halifax. On behalf of our crew here in Charlottetown, I'm Peter Ruckgazer saying good night. We'll see you on Saturday.